Hello, my name is Darren Cochran. I'm a transportation training supervisor at the Central Ohio Transit Authority, and today I'm going to show you how to do the CDL pre-trip inspection. On my bus, I already have all of my panels unlocked and my steering wheel is turned all the way to the left. All I have to do now is turn my lights on before we get started. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm looking at the overall condition of the bus. It's not leaning to one side or to the other. If it were, that could be an indication that I have a leaking or broken airbag or shock. All of my lights and reflectors on the front and sides of the bus are securely mounted, they're not cracked or broken, and they're all the proper color. As you can see, my clearance lights, my side marker lights, and my headlights are working. Will you assist me while I check the rest of them?
Yes.
Left turn signal.
Good.
Left side signal.
Good.
Right turn signal.
Good.
Right side signal.
Good.
Four-way.
Good.
Four-way side signal.
Good.
5B.
Good.
The curbside mirror and bracket are securely mounted and they're not cracked or broken. Both windshields are securely mounted, they're not cracked or broken, and there are no obstructions. The windshield wiper arms are securely mounted and they move freely. The blades are not ripped or torn, and they make full contact with the windshield. The driver's side mirror and bracket are securely mounted and they're not cracked or broken. The driver's side window is securely mounted and it moves freely. The glass is securely mounted, it's not cracked or broken, and there are no obstructions. All of the passenger windows are securely mounted, they're not cracked or broken, and they're all intact. I have 3 side panels, 1 in the front and 2 in the rear. They are all securely mounted with hinges. None of them are missing or broken, and they are all key locked. The steering box is securely mounted and it's not broken or leaking. The steering hoses are securely mounted and they're not cut or leaking. The splash guard and mud flap are securely mounted and they're not cut or broken. If I had a tire gauge, I would check this tire for the proper inflation. The inner and outer casings of the tire are free from abrasions, bruises, and cuts. The tire is worn evenly and the tread depth is no less than 4/32 of an inch. The rim is securely mounted, it's not cracked or broken, and there are no illegal welds. All of my lug nuts are present and tight. If they were loose, you would see signs of rust. The hub oil seal is securely mounted, it's not broken or leaking. If it were leaking, you would see oil inside the rim. The brake drum is securely mounted, it's not cracked or broken. The brake linings are not worn too thin and they're free from grease and oil. The brake chamber is securely mounted, it's not broken or leaking. The brake hose is securely mounted, it's not cut or leaking. The slack adjuster and push rod are securely mounted, they're not cracked or broken, and the push rod will not move more than 1 inch when the brakes are released. The airbags are securely mounted and they're not cut or leaking. The shock is securely mounted, it's not broken or leaking. Airbag mounts and shock mounts are securely mounted and they're not cracked or broken. The torque arm is securely mounted and it's not bent or twisted. The pitman arm and drag link are securely mounted and they're not bent or twisted. Would you follow me to the rear, please? I would inspect the splash guard and mud flap just like I did in the front. If I had a tire gauge, I would inspect both tires for the proper inflation. The inner and outer casings of both tires are free from abrasions, bruises, and cuts. Both tires are evenly worn, and the tread depth on both tires is no less than 2/32 of an inch. The bud spacing is free from any foreign objects. If there were something lodged between the tires, I would remove it for the safety of pedestrians and other vehicles. I would inspect the rim and the lug nuts just like I did in the front. The axle seal is securely mounted and it's not broken or leaking. If it were leaking, you would see oil inside the rim. I would inspect the brake chamber, the brake hose, the brake lining, the brake drum, the slack adjuster, and the push rod just as I did in the front. I would check the torque arm just as I did in the front. The drive shaft is securely mounted to the coupling and it's not bent or twisted. The frame is securely mounted and it's free from excessive rust, illegal welds, and bent cross members. I would inspect this airbag and the airbag mounts, this airbag and the airbag mounts, this shock and the shock mounts, just as I did in the front. Would you follow me to the rear, please?
Yes.
The outside hinges are securely mounted, none are missing or broken. The inside hinges are securely mounted, none are missing or broken. The door shocks are securely mounted and they're not broken or leaking. The coolant reservoir is securely mounted, it's not broken or leaking. The coolant hose is securely mounted, it's not cut or leaking. There is green coolant in the bubble, which means this bus is safe to operate. The exhaust is securely mounted, it's not broken or leaking. If it were leaking, you would see black soot or rust. This is the engine oil dipstick. If I were to check the oil level, I would remove the stick, wipe it off, reinsert it, remove it again, and check the level between add and full. The water pump is securely mounted, it's not broken or leaking, and it's belt driven. The alternator is securely mounted, it's not broken or leaking, it is also belt driven. The alternator wires are securely mounted to the alternator and they're not cut or frayed. The air compressor is securely mounted, it's not broken or leaking, and it is gear driven. The power steering pump is securely mounted, it's not broken or leaking, it is also gear driven. The power steering reservoir is securely mounted, it's not broken or leaking, and it also has a dipstick. If I were to check the fluid level, I would remove the stick, wipe it off, reinsert it, remove it again, and check the level between add and full. The wires are securely mounted, they're not cut or frayed. The hoses are securely mounted, they're not cut or leaking. I have 3 belts. They are securely mounted, they're not cut or frayed, and they have no more than 3/4 of an inch of play. There are no leaks under the bus. All of my lights and reflectors are securely mounted, they're not cracked or broken, and they're all the proper color. As you can see, my clearance lights, my side marker lights, and my tail lights are working. Will you assist me while I check the rest of my lights?
Yes. Good. 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 Good.
I would inspect this side of the bus exactly as I did the other side, with a couple of exceptions. The fuel tanks are securely mounted to the roof of the bus and they're not leaking. In the event of a fuel leak, I would open up this emergency shut-off protection door and I would turn the shut-off valve to the off position. Would you follow me to the front, please? The doors are securely mounted and they move freely. The glass is securely mounted, it's not cracked or broken, and there are no obstructions. The handrails are securely mounted and they're not broken or loose. The floor is not lifting or peeling and there are no obstructions. This handrail is securely mounted and it's not broken or loose. Behind the seat, I have a fully charged fire extinguisher and 3 reflective triangles. I would have fuses, but this bus runs on circuit breakers. This handrail is securely mounted and it's not broken or loose. I would inspect all the other handrails in here just like I did this one. This seat is securely mounted and it's not broken or loose. I would inspect all the other seats in here just exactly as I did this one. This bus is equipped with 1 emergency roof exit here in the rear. In the event of an emergency, I would turn the red handle to exit and push up. This bus is also equipped with 6 emergency window exits, 3 on the left side and 3 on the right side. They are all identified by the red handles, and I will demonstrate one for you. It works. This bus is also equipped with 2 manual door release valves, one here by the back door and one in the front over the front door. In the event of an emergency, I would break this glass, pull down on the red handle, and that would allow me to push open the door. This rear door mirror is securely mounted and it's not cracked or broken. Looking from the rear to the front, the floor is not lifting or peeling and there are no obstructions. At this time, I will begin my in-cab inspection. I'm going to close the door. My seat belt is not ripped or torn, and it clicks. Now I'm going to perform a safe start. My foot is on the brake, the bus is in neutral, and the parking brake is engaged. When I turn the switch on 2 clicks, my ABS light will come on and go off. All my other panel lights will come on and go off. And now the bus is safe to start. My left turn signal works. My right turn signal works. My four ways work. And my high beams work. These mirrors are securely mounted. They're not cracked or broken. My curbside mirror moves and it's set to my view. My driver's side mirror, it moves and it's set to my view. Both windshields are securely mounted. They're not cracked or broken and there are no obstructions. My windshield wipers work and they both have fluid. Now I'm going to test my heat. It'll take just a minute for it to come on. It works. Now I'm going to test my defroster. There's high, medium, and low. It works. Now I'm going to check my gauges. The air pressure gauge is between 90 and 120, which means this bus is safe to operate. The oil pressure gauge is between 20 and 40, which means this bus is safe to operate. The water temperature gauge is between 100 and 180 degrees, which means this bus is safe to operate. The battery voltage gauge is between 28 and 32, which means this bus is safe to operate. This is when I would normally check my ramp. Would you like me to check it?
No, you're good.
All right. Now I'm going to test my horn. It works. Now I'm going to test my parking brake. My foot is on the brake. I'm going to put the bus into drive. My parking brake is engaged. And now I'm going to give it some gas. The parking brake works. Now I'm going to test the service brake. I'm going to release the parking brake. I'm going to make sure my wheel is straight, and I'm going to move forward about 3 feet. It does not pull to the left or to the right. The service brake works. Now I'm going to start my 3-part brake test. I'm going to turn the bus off. I am applying pressure to the brake. If this bus loses more than 3 psi within 1 minute, it is not safe to operate. Will you please time me?
Yes. You're good.
I'm going to turn the switch back on. And now I'm going to pump the brakes to below 85 psi, and my low air pressure warning light will come on and stay on. It works. Now I'm going to turn the switch back off. Now I'm going to pump the brakes to below 50 psi and my parking brake will engage. It works. How much time do I have left?
You have 5 minutes.
This completes my pre-trip inspection.